So, is it too late to start Temporis 5? No. Well, depending on when you watch this video, it may be. But assuming it's still April, May, maybe early June when you're starting this, you can still get in there and have a lot of fun. And I'm going to show you exactly what to do and how to do that in order to make a lot of progress, hopefully in a fairly short amount of time. I'm going to try to hit all of the main points of Temporis 5 as quickly as possible and keep this as concise as possible. However, if there's something that I missed that you got a question about, make sure you leave it in the comments below and I will do my best to get an answer back there for you. Or you can subscribe and turn on notifications and ask me live on my next live stream, because I'm doing a lot of live streaming here during this Temporis event. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, what is a Temporis? Well, in a nutshell, Temporis is a short 10-week period where a temporary server is opened up, and it's the regular game of Dofus, but with some kind of a big twist to it. And if you find yourself asking, what's the point of Temporis? Well, there's kind of two main points. One, it's to have fun. It's to experience the game that we've played for so long in a whole new, different, wacky kind of way. The second thing Temporis is good for is this fun little battle pass, as I like to call it, where you can earn yourself some fun little cosmetic things to bring back with you to the regular server. As you scroll through here, you're going to see anything inside of one of these big boxes are something that gets to come back with you. So there's pets, there's emotes, there's some cosmetic cloaks. In fact, the pet even turns into a pet's mount at some point, and all this fun stuff can come back with you once Temporis is over. So maybe if you're not having a whole lot of fun in Temporis, but you really want this cute stuff, might be worth pushing through after all just to try to get that. Okay, so where do you start? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to pick your Temporis server. Oh, and I will point out real fast, you do have to be subscribed in order to play on the Temporis servers. Right here, if you scroll down, you're going to find a huge selection of Temporis servers. They're all exactly the same. They're just splitting up the population. So you just pick one and hop in. However, I'm on Temporis 5, or the V here, so I highly recommend this one if you want to hop on a server that you know is going to have some English-speaking people on it. This could be a good one just for you. Next thing you got to do is pick your class, and all the classes are as normal on this one. There's no twist to the classes themselves. What I recommend is make sure you pick a class that you're going to enjoy at all levels. If there's a class that you like, but you only like it at end game, well, you might be stuck at early game much longer than you're used to. So make sure you pick a class that you find fun at all the different levels, because you may be stuck there longer than you thought. Alright, you got your character, you're outside the tutorial area. The next thing you want to do is make sure you talk to this Ecaflip standing right here. She's going to give you your very first Ecaflip card. And I'll explain exactly how the Ecaflip cards work more here in just a second, but this is just to get you started. If you open up your inventory, you're going to see a new tab here called Ecaflip Cards. If you select this, there you can see that you got your first card. Next, we're going to go up to Ecaflip City, because that's what gets the ball rolling for you to start leveling. And to get there, you're just going to go one to the right, and next to the Astrub Zap, you're going to find Philippaz right here, and you're going to talk to him. Anytime you see this guy, he's going to give you the ability to get up to Ecaflip City. He's not located at all Zaps, but I found him at a lot of the main city-type Zaps. So you talk to him, and he's going to give you some cat tokens. These are what you're going to use in Ecaflip City. I'll cover that more here in a minute. You head on up. And this is where you land in Ecaflip. Now I'm going to give you a big tour of the whole thing here in a moment, but I'm just trying to show you how to get started here first. First thing you're going to do is come here to the right, and this is where you actually submit your cards for leveling. Once you step inside, you got this big beep bop thing here. You're going to talk to that and insert the card into the machine. And that's how you level. So the way you level in this Temporis is not through XP. In fact, there is no XP. You can do quests, you can do achievements, and you can fight mobs. None of those are going to actually give you XP. Now, XP can be used in guilds and mounts, I believe, but as far as your character leveling, the only way you go up is by submitting the right cards into the machine. So once you turn that in, you click OK. You can pump your characteristic points in here just like a regular level, and if you need to find out what your next card is that you need to go for, you can click on your quest icon, and you'll see right here underneath Temporis V, it'll show your level. This is the quest that you need to be going for. And over here it says take 1 Spirit Fires to Beep Bop, which is this guy right here. You can click on it, and it's going to show you what the card looks like. You can click on this little gear right here, and if it's dropped by an enemy, it'll say bestiary right here. If it needs to be crafted, you'll see recipe right here. Some cards are dropped by enemies, some are by dungeon bosses, and some are only craftable. But you can select this, and it's going to show you exactly what enemies are going to drop the card that you're looking for. So to get to level 3, you're going to need to go out, get one of these cards, bring it back to Beep Bop, turn it in, then you move on to level 4. All right, and the last thing that I'll point out to you real fast when it comes to kind of getting started is I highly recommend try to get into a guild. This is a very farmy, grindy kind of Temporis. You're going to be fighting mobs over and over again, maybe running dungeons a lot, and having a group of people with you all working towards the same goal makes a big difference. If you get inside of a guild, those people will be more likely to want to just hop in and try to help you out to move forward as well. So if you are here on the Temporis V server, hit us up. We're the Royal Flushers Guild. A bunch of people in here, all English speaking, that are trying to make it as far as we can through the server. So you can hit us up, try to find some people around your level, and maybe we can help you move forward at a faster pace. Cards are droppable and craftable, but they're also sellable. If you go to the resource market, you can click on that and you can select Ecaflip Cards Temporis. And you'll find that all the Ecaflip cards that have been discovered so far, crafted so far, are in here for purchase. So here's one of the big advantages. If you are by some chance just now starting, if you don't want to go out there and try to drop the cards that you need, remember that Spirit Fire you need? You can click on this, and for 35 Kamas, 35 Kamas, you can just buy that level. You literally, if you've got the Kamas, can just start purchasing levels and not even have to go do any fights. Now you got to get your Kamas somehow, but that's pretty cool that you can start skipping some levels because the market has become pretty well established with a lot of the lower level cards. All right, another big twist with Temporis is your gear. You can't actually just craft your gear like you typically would. Now you have to actually use cards to craft your gear. So right here where you come up into Ecaflip City again, over here on the right is Beep Bop, where you can go turn in your cards for levels. On the left-hand side underneath this 5 is where you can actually play a card game to get the gear that you need. So you're gonna play the 5-Cat Monty, and the way this works is you click one of the tables, and it's gonna bring this up. Now the idea behind this is every 5 combination of cards will get you some piece of gear. Now you don't know which ones. So you can just start selecting any 5 pieces you want, throw it in here, and that one. All right, we've thrown 5 cards in there. You hit the play button, bada boom, Crystal Obal. Not sure if that's one that's been found yet, but that's how you can get the Crystal Obal card. If you want to share this recipe with somebody, you can click this screen capture. It's going to give you a screenshot of it. You save it on your computer, and then you can go upload it where people are trying to make crafts. Speaking of that, if you follow me on my Discord, we've created a Temporis channel, and people are listing the recipes for the crafts that they've discovered there. So there is a link in the description below. If you want to go hop on the Discord and follow me there, you can have access to all of those. There's also a French website where a bunch of the French community are compiling everything that they've discovered so far. If I remember, I'll try to put that in the description below as well. If I forget, ask somebody on my Discord and I'm sure they can point you to it as well. Okay, so this is Ecaflip City, or the strip you might say that's supposed to be kind of like the Vegas thing. And I'm going to give you a quick little tour of Ecaflip City and point out some things you might want to know about. Right here where you come up at the Zap, of course you got Beep Bop over here on the right, and you got the 5-Cat Monty up here on the left. There are several NPCs on each of the maps. I do recommend you talk to them because they do sell stuff that can be extremely useful. There are several different types of token. One is called this Rich Tokens. Rich Tokens are what you use to purchase things from the NPCs up here, and I'll tell you how to get those here in just a moment. But go through here and explore the different NPCs because you'll find some very useful things that maybe you don't have the Kamas to go spend on, but you can get them from up here from these NPCs. Now, to get those Rich Tokens, you actually have to use Cat Tokens. If you remember right, as we came up here as a brand new character, we were given 20 Cat Tokens on our way up. That's what these things are right here. And these are what you use to play the mini games up here. The mini games, when you win, get you Rich Tokens. The Rich Tokens are what you shop with. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but Cat Tokens are where you start. Rich Tokens are where you go next, so that you can spend them. And I'll show you where some of those games are. First thing we're gonna do is come over here to the left. Again, you got some NPCs here you can talk to. This one right here, Ella, Ella has a larva race game where it's kind of like you're betting on a horse, you could say. But you're going to pick a larva, and the goal is to see if that larva wins the race. If the larva wins the race, you win some rich tokens. This one's kind of pricey, and you got a 1 in 4 chance of winning. So if you don't have very many cat tokens, I don't recommend that you start with a larva. If we go left, another map, I'm going to show you another really important feature of Ecaflip. Right over here, you're going to see what looks like some slot machines. We're going to go in here and get what's called the Kitty-Neko. This cute little Kitty-Neko thing, if you select buy, you can get what are called Kitty-Nekos. You can only have one of these equipped at a time, and basically it goes in one of your trophy slots. In fact, let me show you mine real fast. So right here is my Kitty-Neko. And what happens is you can actually equip cards into the Kitty-Neko to get different effects. As you can see here, it can hold 3 cards. One of them is giving me 35 strength buff. 2 of them are giving me actual spells that I can use in the game. Now, the way that you can figure out what the cards can do is when you select your cards and hover over top of them, you will see details underneath the effects. Some of these are very basic, like this one is a bonus card that gives you 4 prospecting. This one's a bonus card that gives you 11 prospecting. But some of these actually give you spells. Now, what you got to pay attention to is the type of card that it is. Cards are broke down into 5 different categories. You got bonus, club, diamond, heart, and spade. Looking at the Nekos, it will tell you exactly which cards that can hold. So Weena Kitty-Neko can hold 1 bonus card, 1 heart, and 1 diamond. So if you got a specific card that you really want to have on your class, make sure you check to see what category it is and figure out which Neko is going to be able to hold that so you don't accidentally buy one that you can't use. Now, when you're first starting out, level 1, you can get this one at the very top for 2 rich tokens. Very cheap. The next levels are 25 and then level 100 where you can get these different ones. But definitely get this first one. It's not a very big one. It doesn't cost much and you're going to have a whole lot of extra cards. Get yourself some little buffs in there. Now, I will point out really fast that you can also purchase these Kitty-Nekos in the equipment market. Some people have moved on to other ones and so they've listed those in the market to sell. So you might search through there and see about just buying one with Kamas that maybe already got some attachments to it that you want. Now, if you do have a Kitty-Neko and you get a new card and you want to swap it out, you can talk to the dispenser again, and this time you're going to select exchange. So what this does is if you put a Kitty-Neko over here, it will give you a blank one of that same one. It doesn't cost you anything. However, you're going to lose all the cards that are on that Kitty-Neko. So you can't just swap out 1 card or 2 cards. It's kind of an all or nothing deal there. So just be mindful of that. But if you do have a new card that you're wanting to get on your Kitty-Neko, this is how you can get a fresh one. And one last place that you can get Kitty-Nekos, if you bring up your battle pass. And I didn't really point this out before. Down here, this little green arrow that's pointing up, that's what brings up your Temporis battle pass is what I like to call it. If you scroll along here, occasionally you'll see one of these that says Mystery Kitty-Neko, and when you get this and roll it, you've got a chance of getting one of those Kitty-Nekos in the group. That's actually how I got my second Kitty-Neko. Those are all the ways that you can get the different Kitty-Nekos. They're exchangeable, so maybe you got a friend that's going to just pass you one for free. They're very handy to have. Definitely recommend you get one. Okay, moving left one more time again. Here you're gonna find another one of the mini games. Odette right here, if you talk to her and play her game, the way she's gonna start out is she's gonna start with 2 pets on the field. You pick one of them, and if you've picked the right one, she'll now put 3 pets on the field. The goal is to always be trying to pick the correct pet, but it's completely random, completely RNG. There's no strategy to it, so it's literally all luck. Further you go into that, the bigger the reward is that you get. But again, your odds are getting less and less every turn. And I think it maxes out at 8 pets. I'm not entirely sure. I think the highest I got was 5, and then I picked the wrong one and it was all gone. So that's how you play this game here. Okay, now with the exception of the Incarnum dungeon, all the keys have to be exchanged. I'm gonna show you how to do that. You go inside the Caesar Palace right here, and you're gonna see Feline Vion up here. Now the way this works is you can select exchange, and you offer her a card from the area of the dungeon that you want to do. If I put one of these cards over here, you'll see that she's going to give me an Incarnum key. In fact, I could put 2, 3, whatever I want, and she's going to give me the number of keys associated with that. Now you cannot, however, put different cards in the same exchange. If I put this over here, now I get nothing. So you can only exchange 1 item at a time, but you can do multiple of that same item. Now let's say that you wanted to go fight the field dungeon. Well, you got to grab yourself an item from the field area. So I can grab this field plant, and I get a field key. If I was wanting to run the Gobble dungeon, I can take one of these Gobble cards and put it over here, I get a Gobble key. So that's kind of how the card exchange works. Now a couple of these might be a little odd, you might just need to experiment a little bit. For example, if you put a Pee-wee card over here, you're gonna get a Sandy Castle key, because there's no dungeon associated with the Pee-wee. So just do a little bit of experimenting, throwing cards over there, see what you get off of it. But this is where you go to get dungeon keys now. And if you run a dungeon, you're most likely gonna get plenty of cards for more keys of that dungeon. You just come back here, exchange them, get another group of cards, go run your dungeon. So just be mindful about buying keys when you can get them so easily. Now, one more to the left here is the end of the strip, and there is one more mini game. This is probably the one I recommend you start out with if you don't have very many cat tokens. So what you do is you give her 10 cat tokens, and you're both going to throw the Schaefer spell. The first person to get a crit Schaefer wins. Pretty easy. So you kind of got a 50-50 chance of winning every time it goes. Now, there might be several rounds where nobody's getting a crit Schaefer, and there are different sizes of the Schaefer. So if you get a really big Schaefer, you get a bigger bag of rewards. So if you don't have very many cat tokens and you really need to get some rich tokens in your bag, come here and play this one first. This is my favorite one for low-level tokens. Now, if you've lost your cat tokens and you still don't have any red tokens, don't be too worried. As you notice here on the battle pass, you will see that you get more cat tokens constantly through this thing as you continue to progress through this. So you'll get to the point where you have probably a lot of extra cat tokens, and I'm actually even going to do a cat token code giveaway, and I will give you the details of how to enter that towards the end of this video. But you could win yourself a nice little bag of some cat tokens. Okay, so you're brand new, this is day one. Where do you start? What do you do? Well, here's my suggestions. Again, you can do your own thing, but this is what I would do if I was starting today. So the main goal of Temporis is to try to work your way through this pass. There's a lot of stuff in here, and there's stuff that helps you as you progress in your levels. You're gonna get scrolls that buff your character. You're gonna get pets that buff your character. So to be moving along the Temporis pass is very strategic in your gameplay. To get that ball rolling, I recommend you go through the Incarnum quest. If you go underneath achievements, down here at the bottom, you're going to see this Temporis achievement list. You click on this, and this is going to show you exactly how you can earn the Tempokens. I just realized I hadn't covered that yet. The Temporis achievement list here is how you earn the Tempokens in this game. By knocking out an achievement with every one of these Pee-wees, I get a Tempoken. Same thing with this, I get a Tempoken. The further down you make it and the more difficult things get, the more Tempokens you get. Monster achievements is just one small way you can earn Tempokens. Anytime you can be trying to work towards multiple achievements at a time, it makes you more Tempokens. Fighting the Arc monsters of every animal group get you a big chunk of Tempokens. Running through dungeons get you a big chunk of Tempokens. And the cool thing is the dungeon can be accomplished on 3 separate weeks, and you get a set of Tempokens each time. Now the number decreases, but you still get more. Achievements and quests are one of the best and easiest passive ways to be making Tempokens. So anytime you can be knocking out something else that moves you towards an achievement, moves you towards a quest, right here, 50 quests completed, 20 Tempokens, 75, 30 Tempokens, 140 Tempokens. You can get a lot of Tempokens as long as you're doing the quest. I see people making the mistake of skipping quests because they're like, I don't get XP from them anyways. No, but they do still get you Tempokens, so it's important. Busting out all the Incarnum quests starts the ball rolling on these big chunks here, and so it is worth it. The next thing I would do, once you have at least 400, come here to -1, -2 up in Incarnum and talk to Card Hunter. She's going to offer you hunting weapons for 400 Kamas. The hunting weapon is a profession that you can level, and that will save you cards that you have to buy later or craft later if you want to be leveling a profession as you go. Now you might check the markets too. Perhaps the markets are saturated now and you could buy one even cheaper than 400. But if they're not cheaper than 400, come here at -1, -2 and buy one from Card Hunter. Next, I would suggest try to get the first 10 levels at least without spending any Kamas on cards. Now, like we pointed out earlier, you could get level 3 card for 35 Kamas. Perhaps getting the Kamas is easier than getting the cards, and doing a few fights, you haven't dropped it, you've got the Kamas, you can go buy your level. But if you can get at least the first 10 levels, which if I remember right, all of the cards for the first 10 levels are located here in Incarnum, with level 10 being the Cardorium card from the boss of the Incarnum dungeon. But if you can get those first 10 levels, knock out the achievements up here, knock out the quests up here, and not spend any commas, you could be setting yourself up really good when you finally leave here and head to Astrub. All right, you're finally done with Incarnum. You've come down here to Astrub and you are ready to grind. Well, my very next piece of advice for you, if you're still fairly new to this and haven't quite figured out how it works, pace yourself. My goodness, it's the hardest part of this Temporis is just not trying to push as hard as possible because it's hard to grind your way in levels. Your grinding is not for XP. Your grinding is for resources, professions, and all these things that we aren't typically grinding for. So pace yourself. If you want to power level, you can only do that with cards. Maybe you've got all those commas that I recommended you saved up from Incarnum, and you can go buy your next few levels straight from the resource market, which can be fantastic. You can jump straight from level 10 to maybe level 20 just because the cards are so cheap now and you saved your commas. Maybe you've even got some friends that are already way past this level and they've got extras just laying around. They might just pass you the cards that you need, and then you can save your commas to spend on the next few levels. Another part of pacing yourself, and this is a mistake I see a lot of people doing, is take breaks from trying to get the next level to upgrade your gear. There's people I've seen in the 20s, 30s, and even 40s still running around with Incarnum and Peewee gear because they're so focused on just getting that next card to get that next level that they haven't spent the time to try to get their gear upgraded yet. There's nothing wrong with running around that stuff. In fact, it's kind of cool to know that you can be in Peewee gear and still taking on things in level 40s. However, if you have to go out there and do some leveling or solo progression, it's going to start getting very challenging because you can't go fight the actual mobs that are going to drop the stuff that you need. So it's a good idea to take some time occasionally, spend those precious cards to get some gear, sell some cards to make some commas to go buy the gear that you need. Take time to get gear that's going to make your character better. It's going to help you out and it's going to help the team out when you do get to group up with people. So what if you're not new? You've been grinding, and I do mean grinding, Temporis from the beginning. You've got several levels under your belt and you're trying to figure out, okay, now what is next for me? What do I do? Number one, take some time to upgrade your gear. If you're 30, 40, 50, and you still have Peewee gear and Incarnum gear and really low level gear on, take a little time to stop pushing on the grind so hard. Unless you're just having fun. Again, do what you want to do. These are just suggestions. But what I would suggest, take some time to go try to upgrade your gear. Whether that means trying to make some commas so you can go purchase the gear directly, or maybe do a little research in the Discords and forums to try to find out which cards will craft you the gear that you need. Either way is fine, but try to upgrade your gear because that makes you stronger both for your solo progression and also as a team when you go do things together. Number two, try to work with some other people to help them out. The worst part about this Temporis, if there is no real reward or incentive to want to help people that are outside of your immediate level or very close to it, with the exception of maybe getting some more resources that can be sold. But if the person is lower than you, most likely you're getting resources that are not worth a whole lot of money now, and so you don't want to waste your time with it. But if you can group up with some people and exchange services, say, hey, I will help you go drop that card if you then come help me drop this card, and kind of work together, that's a great way to help people at different levels still progress. The more people you got in your group, the better chances of dropping what it is that you're looking for. And if you're all working together to exchange the cards that each other needs, you don't have to be worried about which person in the group drops the card that you need because you know they're going to pass it to you. So try to find some people to help out. Even if they're not at your level, you can go help them some, they can come help you some. It's a great way to make some progression outside of your immediate level. And the last thing I would recommend, because again, I see a lot of high-level people skipping this, is start working towards your Tempokens. Yeah, the quests and the achievements and stuff, some of those, it may not feel like it matters because you're not getting the typical XP and rewards that you're used to. But you really want to be trying to get these Tempokens because this is the stuff that gives you lasting rewards. If you don't earn anything on this Temporis pass, when Temporis is over, the only thing you get to take back with you is going to be maybe the XP potion up here if you got anything into it. Remember, everything inside of a big square is something that you will have the option to take back with you. Now, I don't know if you get every pet or if you're going to select a pet. They don't have stats when they go back with you to the regular server. They just become cosmetic at that point. But if you got a specific one on the list that you really like the looks of, say, oh my goodness, I love this cat, I want to have this cat afterwards, well, that gives you a goal of what Tempokens to shoot for. So my last suggestion for you, if you've been working on Temporis for the last week or so and you're trying to figure out what to do next, try to start working on your Tempokens and work up this pass, because you're going to have lasting rewards after Temporis ends. Okay, some tips and tricks and suggestions I got for you just in general about the Temporis. Right here at the coordinates of 3-17, right outside the Kickroach dungeon, there is Pappy Shat here. This is a NPC placed by Ankama, and this is going to be a resource that they use to try to help casual players get past things that they're spotting as big bottlenecks. And they said that weekly on Tuesdays, the items in here will rotate. So I highly recommend you come here and check this thing regularly. Now, I don't know also if they're going to actually be just taking things completely away from this at certain points. So depending on what your commas look like, it might be worth just buying 1 or 2 of these different things and keep them in your bag so that if this disappears, you still got some with you from when it was available. If you find yourself with a bunch of rich tokens, don't just buy the things that you see in the market. You can save your commas sometimes by coming up here and checking the NPCs in Ecaflip City to purchase with your rich tokens. So this Backlight right now that is worth almost 5,000 commas, if you've got 2 rich tokens, you can just buy this. Well, I've got almost 300 at the moment. Pretty easy purchase right here. So you might even consider coming up here and spending your rich tokens on things that you know are needed in the market and sell them. And then it's almost like you're exchanging rich tokens for commas. So that's something you can be thinking about as well. But I'll point out that up here you can find precious stones, you can find oils from the farmer recipe, there's substrates, you got the handyman boards, and all kinds of things that are very useful. Check the different NPCs up here and find out where you could be saving and or making some commas. If profession leveling is something that you want to do, you want to make sure that you have no issues trying to craft the things that you want, the easiest way to level your professions is to find yourself a workshop, stand inside, and just start offering to craft things for people as soon as they walk through the door. Don't charge them or nothing, just offer to craft it for them. You're going to get yourself some free XP really easy. Something else I would point out to you real quick on the profession leveling, try to level cards anytime you can, because the cards are going to give you way more XP than the regular crafts. Level caps. What's a level cap? Doesn't matter in this one because XP doesn't matter. So instead of trying to fight groups that are going to be really close to your level, push yourself. Go for the much bigger mobs. The more enemies that are in the group, the better chance you got of dropping it is what you're looking for. So don't worry about level caps or paying any attention to that. Again, XP doesn't matter. Fight the biggest group you think you can handle. Get as many resources and drops as you can. Keep an eye on your Temporis achievements list down here. This is where you're going to be getting Tempokens. Don't forget that this is here. Pay attention to what you might be working close to, and don't forget, the further you make it down into these higher levels, the more tokens you get. So it may not seem like a lot at first, but it does begin to add up. Want an easy way to try to get these achievements where you got to fight groups that are higher than you? If you are around level 30, you can go spam the Incarnum dungeon, super easy, fast, and cheap, and every one of those fights will be counted as a fight above your level cap. If you're a little higher than that, around 40, you might consider the field dungeon as an option as well. The nice thing is you're working towards this challenge and you're also getting achievements from challenge fights along the way as well. When you look at your Tempokens up here on the top right, you can see how many that you've earned. If you've reached a point where you should be able to unlock this pet because you have over 45 and it's not working, simply log out to the character screen, come back in, and it'll pick right up for you and you'll be able to collect it at that point. Another tip I got for you, make sure you're paying attention to the cards that you drop. Read through these spells, see if it's one that's going to be useful for your character build. Maybe previously your Kitty-Neko had this 4 prospecting bonus card, and now you've managed to drop this one that gives you 11 prospecting. Well, go swap out your Kitty-Neko and put the new card in there and bump up your prospecting, bump up your damage. Check to see if there's a spell now that you can use that you didn't have access to before. So pay attention to the effects that these different cards can give you. And my last suggestion for you, and it really is a big one, try to get inside of a guild. If you're on Temporis 5 or the V server, hit us up here on Royal Flushers. We're recruiting anybody, any level, as long as you speak English. That's the only requirement so that we can all talk to and help each other. Being inside of a guild will make a world of difference for you as you begin to work your way through here. All right, I hope that was helpful. Hope I was able to get you on your way with your Temporis adventure. If there were any questions that I did not answer that you got, please leave them in the comments below and I will try to get back to you there. Or again, you can subscribe and turn on notifications and maybe hop in on one of my live streams and ask me live. Now, I did say I was going to do a giveaway, so this is how you enter. It's super easy. All you got to do is in the comment section below, even if you've already left a comment asking a question, feel free to either edit that one and add to it, or just make another comment. Let me know the class that you picked for Temporis and what level you're at. Now, if you're brand new, feel free to put level 1 because you're just starting. But if you wouldn't mind also, again, this is optional, you don't have to do it, but it would be fantastic. Also leave a tip or a trick that you've found so far for Temporis that you think would be very helpful for other people. Maybe it's a particular card that you found that's super useful. Maybe a spell that comes from it that's great. Maybe a certain Kitty-Neko that you found that is making some great combinations. Whatever it may be, leave that in the comments below and try to help some other people out. That's all you got to do. Be part of the giveaway. I'll pull a name out later this week and I will reach out to you directly to let you know that you are the winner. And I'll even announce it on my Twitter. So if you follow me there, you'll see the announcement there as well. Well, that's everything I got. If you haven't already, could do me a huge favor and smack that like button. I would really appreciate it. Until next time, you all be safe out there and I will see you on the next one.